The language we use defines us. It reflects our intricate thought process and reveals how we see the world. It's the core of culture. The many languages that live in Oklahoma drive the uniqueness of our state and shape who we are as communities. The state of Oklahoma began as Indian Territory, and as we enter the 21st century, the diversity of cultures and languages of tribal peoples in the state still define Oklahoma as an integral part of Indian country. One example that exemplifies how important language is not only to us as tribal people, but to the entire population of Oklahoma, is the name of the state itself. If it were not for the Choctaw people, we would not even have the name Oklahoma. The Chickasaw, Muscogee Creek, Choctaw, Seminole, and Cherokee people are all actively engaging our communities with language initiatives. These range from programs such as language immersion schools, partnerships with public schools and universities, online learning, as well as using some of the latest technology such as tablet computers and other mobile devices in our languages. The Seminole Nation is making great strides in its language by instilling the language in their children. The nation has started a Seminole language immersion school. It's a positive move for keeping the language alive among the Seminole people for generations to come.
With respect to our culture and language, we're, like most tribes, gradually losing most of what we have in our traditions. And when we came into office a couple of years ago, we came in with the idea that if we don't take positive action and aggressive action, we're not going to be able, we're losing the window of opportunity to retain and restore our language and preserve a lot of our cultural history and cultural traditions. One of the things we've done since we've been in office is actually provide base funding from tribal funds for our language program and for our cultural preservation activities. You know, we're starting as we're adopting from the successes of other tribes. We started a small immersion program. We hope to expand that.
Right now we have 2 students, and we're getting ready to have our youngest one, who is my daughter. So I'm really proud of that my own child is going to become part of this immersion program. And now we have a full-fledged department, so I'm real proud of this.
Now we're working on that. We have a 3-year plan. And at the end of that 3 years, we will have in place teachers to teach not only the age that we have now, but for the next few years that we're going to add on. Hopefully it gives us direction. Now, just knowing our language doesn't give us the knowledge of our ancestors, but it gives us access to that knowledge in a way that you can't translate it into English.
My son, he is 2, and I wanted him to know the language. I don't know it myself. I want my children to know who they are and that they are very special in the sense that they're not an average American, and that there's times whenever we have conversations that he's telling me things that I don't know, and sometimes it makes me feel bad because I don't know what he's saying, but then it makes me feel good because I know he understands and he's picking up the language a lot faster.
The only way that we will be able to truly promote fluency is to become an immersed society again. And in order to do that, we have to start saving the babies. We were actually the first in Oklahoma to develop an immersion program with infants from 6 weeks old to 2 years of age.
This is a picture that was taken probably about 40 years ago, and this is my great-grandma Lucy Frank, and this is my great-aunt Eliza Johnson. This is my mom Lucy Tiger, and this is my grandmother Wazia Martha Lee. But all of these ladies right here, they were all monolingual speakers of our language. My mom is bilingual, And so I know that the language that they were speaking was our Seminole language in this picture. And it was 40 years ago, and this is a snapshot of what life was like for Seminole people. You know, we had the language, it was that strong. This is kind of one of the things that I just want to see us get back to. When I think about losing our language, I think that if we don't do something about it, or if we don't take steps to actively, you know, bring it back, then I feel personal that it's like dishonoring the memory of who these women were. I don't know why, but I always grew up thinking that we had this big security blanket of speakers out there. And for us, we did, but for the kids today, they don't have that. They don't have hearing it all the time at all.
Back in the day, and the song is telling the baby to go to sleep because Grandma went looking for turtle shells, but she'll be back. So that's how it goes.
The Muscogee Creek Nation continues its long history of educational partnerships working with public schools. The incorporation of Muscogee language curricula into public school systems ensures the language will remain vital and evolve as all living languages do.
Our Creek language program started last school year, and Addie Lewis has a Creek language program for Native and non-Native students. Every student in our school, pre-K to 5th grade, participates in this program.
Addie Lewis, Joseph Garos, Istijadi and Banaka Mahayedos. I teach at Adams Elementary. I teach pre-K through 5th grade, and I'm here to save my language. Whenever I started elementary school, all I knew was Creek language, and I struggled to learn English. So I can understand when the children tell me this is hard. I can understand what they're talking about because it was hard for me to learn English.
Kathleen Coachman, and I'm the language manager for the Muscogee Creek Nation. Our department is fairly new. It was created by an enactment of the Muscogee Creek Nation law in 2005 to establish a language program. And that started by a group of people that was concerned that the language was diminishing, and so they came together and they came before the council, and the council gave the funding to establish a language program. We teach in 4 public schools. We teach in Holdenville School, Ryle School, Wilson School, and then here in Tulsa, at Adams Elementary. And having these classes bring the pride back into our Native kids, because they do realize that they have a Native language of their own, something that they can own, and that's important. I see the pride in the kids when they begin learning their language. They look around and they see all these other nationalities, and they have their own language. And when you begin teaching them, you can just see the pride in their eyes. And so that's what's important to me. That's what I like to see.
Right. Whenever I see them learning, it's real rewarding for me. It makes me really happy. I'm clapping my hands and smiling, and it's just really, it's a really good feeling to see children learn.
This program has really broadened our students' cultural experience. It gives them an introduction to a foreign language other than their first language of English. We have other students where English is their second language. They're ELL students, English language learners. But we also have the highest Native American population of any other Tulsa public schools. So the program's been a great asset to our school. Our kids get a chance to experience hands-on learning. Miss Lewis instructs in song, dance, rhythm, arts, crafts, and the students engage the whole body in an experience that is unique to her program.
Istijadi Banaka Mahayedos, without putting him high. Panaka punchung di bahan or sidon. Lopet spesa mahaya di kondo es.
The Chickasaw Nation is having continued success with its Master Apprentice program. The tribe is actively using the latest technologies to keep the interest of the youth and to keep their language relevant in the modern era.
So Hoshtrafot, Joshua Henson, Chickasaw Manompa, Toxolilit, Chickasaw Sayat, Najjamith, Chickasaw Nompa, Itana, Shtalitok, Pilat, Fame, Pokole Awa Chafakash, Chickasaw Nompa, Tanalet, Sabanog Mano Analet, Anshapotat, Chokfit Alaka, Chickasaw Nompa, Emanole Sabanog Mano Analiat, Itanali Tok Makonot, Chickasaw Athlete, Elitibat Toxalimukut, Chickasaw Nompa, Emobachil Mano Anali. The department is the Department of Chickasaw Language. The core mission is to provide access for all Chickasaw citizens, regardless of where they live, provide language access. So we have a broad range of programs. The core of our program is the Master Apprentice program. It's one-on-one learning for highly endangered languages. And they meet 2 hours a day, 5 days a week for a year. And then you could be selected to go into year 2, and you can be selected to go into year 3. We've had good success. We produced roughly 4 to 5 newly conversational adult speakers of Chickasaw since 2007. While our program isn't particularly large, to produce any level of fluency in an adult speaker is pretty remarkable. So we're pleased with the progress that we've made. This isn't to say that, you know, we're perfect and I make mistakes and talking all the time, and so do our other apprentices, but the point is we're willing to talk, and that's what you have to do to pick up your language. Beyond Master Apprentice, we have a broad range of enrichment, language learning enrichment activities and programs and things, and everything from, you know, internet-based, like, you know, language PDFs and books, and we're working on an electronic dictionary project that's going to be based on the web. We're working on some applications for Apple devices like iPhone, iPod, and iPad. We have community classes that are taught by fluent speakers for all community members, about 5 to 6 at any given time. We also do Chickasaw language at Bing High School, which is a small school north of Ada, and we also teach 4 semesters of Chickasaw at East Central University, which is just up the road here. So we're expanding these programs, always keeping Master Apprentice at the heart.
Bashpokulupa lawa ahir
this skill that we want, and so we pair an interested learner, the apprentice, with their master, and they catch the language by living in Chickasaw 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. The method is designed to know English, and if you commit to that, it works best. It doesn't work as well if you let English come into the conversation.
Yapachkoskamo I tuli askanale
Okole. No.
Kio
Taslapi. Taslapi. Yam kutus potishupuni makilachi.
Sahochafo Clovis Hamilton. I am the language outreach specialist. My main focus is sports language camps. Hemita Atlea Ochakoshkamo, the youth are playing. 2004 is when I first started getting involved in language. I took a community class at night, started working in youth services, doing various camps, and then in 2010 I got involved in the Master Apprentice program to help me learn the language. Stanley Smith is my master teacher. We meet various times. He puts up with me is the main part. Is that the language is something that you have to work at. It does not just come natural like a sport or anything like that. Like, you actually have to study it and to try to figure everything out. I'm currently still doing the Master Apprenticeship program. Now that I'm involved in the language program, I'm around the language every day.
Chukma Sohishchvoet Rachel Wedlow. I am the Language Outreach Coordinator for the Chickasaw Nation. My main responsibility for the Chickasaw Language Department is to work with children. We have a monthly children's language club, Chipotle Chickasaw Numpali, which means children speaking Chickasaw. What we do is we get together once a month. We have a fun activity where for the 2 hours that we are together, we learn things in Chickasaw. We recently participated in the 9th Annual Oklahoma Native American Youth Language Fair, and at that competition we did Eye of the Tiger in Chickasaw. So they already knew the song from, say, the Wii game, and from that we turned it into Chickasaw. In 2010, we performed Take Me Out to the Ball Game. That was also translated into Chickasaw, so it's something new that the kids are familiar with, but they're learning the language as well. Once the children learn the language, their parents may not know anything about the Chickasaw Nation, but once their children participate in one of our programs, they actually take that language home, and therefore we've not only taught one, we're teaching the entire family, and that's something that we know helps promote the Chickasaw language that we have.
The Choctaw Nation is actively engaging the cutting edge by incorporating the internet into its language learning process. Engaging numerous public schools and universities, the Choctaw Distance Learning Program reaches thousands of people learning the Choctaw language.
We teach to some 1,500 people in a given week. We do that in various ways. We have community classes where they meet at night. People give up their time to teach our language to our people out in the community. We have several in the Choctaw Nation and several in the state of Oklahoma, but we also teach in Kansas, in San Francisco, and also in Los Angeles. We teach through the internet, absolutely free, and people can get on the internet and also learn about the Choctaw language. We also have a new website, and on our website we have words and the language where people can hear the language spoken by a native speaker and also learn phrases and words in the language on our new website.
I'm Curtis Billy, and I'm a Choctaw teacher for the language department assigned to teach the college level courses at the college at Southeastern. Primarily go on site. I go to the college and teach 12 hours a semester, and also that means we have Choctaw 1, 2, 3, and 4, which the students receive college credit for foreign language. So this is open to all students, whether they're Choctaw or not, and it counts towards their foreign language requirement. And then we're adding 2 more classes, conversational at the upper level, which would be more like junior level and senior level courses.
We wanted this language to be taught not as a language that you're going to go in there and you're going to teach vocabulary and grammar, and they have to grasp the grammar. And that's probably one of the most difficult ways to learn a language. So we kind of wanted to approach it sort of a natural way, a natural approach, where you utilize language patterns in a conversational type setting, so that your learners would be able to begin to interact with you at a very quickly. Going from that, we developed the scope and sequence. Okay, so what are you going to teach? What content? Per chapter. We picked we'll go 18 chapters that will cover a school year, and then what will go into each chapter, and then each chapter will have a lesson plan, and the teachers, the team would develop activities and lessons to go with those. And then, of course, you have to have an evaluation because we are geared toward the high school, and so you have to have grades. You must have those things that are performance-based. So we took that route, and we've been very, very successful at it. We published Choctaw 1, a complete textbook for the teacher and a student edition workbook for the students. And then we published Choctaw 2, and we are now currently in the process of publishing Choctaw 3.
You know, we doing real good with the language program, especially our teachers. You know, they're speakers also. So we're doing real good with community classes, and I'm over the community classes right now, so I have about 35 communities classes in the Choctaw Nation area.
What I do is teach the college classes, the beginning college classes, and also the internet classes. I've been teaching the internet classes since its inception in February of 2000. We began the internet classes because there was a need for someone who wanted to learn the language but couldn't get to a community class. We had community classes, but those weren't always available to whoever wanted to learn. So these classes were developed, and since internet is global, we are global as far as who wants to learn. We have had students from several different countries enroll in the classes and have learned to speak Choctaw. We've had students from Thailand and Germany, London, no, that's not a country, England. I think I have a list here: Morocco, Korea, Ecuador, Romania. Romania was the latest student we had last fall. A student from Romania had enrolled in the class, and of course Canada. So we teach to anyone, anywhere.
We have a wonderful staff. We have great people that work for us and teach out in the community. We have great teachers that teach in our public school and our Head Starts. We have great people that work for us to develop curriculum, instructors that teach in the colleges. We just are blessed with lots of good people to teach in our program and to work so that we can maintain and perpetuate the language.
Cherokee Nation has always been on the cutting edge of communication technology, ranging from the Cherokee printing press, having one of the first phones west of the Mississippi, as well as creating the Cherokee typewriter. The innovation continues by including the Cherokee syllabary on some of the world's latest technological devices.
The Cherokee language is unique in the sense that it has its own written syllabary, which is developed by Sequoia. And as that relates to technology, you know, putting a different language into a computer requires certain things. And if we wanted to keep our language relevant and alive into the 21st century, we needed to find a different direction. In 2010, Apple released a software update, which put the Cherokee syllabary on their mobile devices, which includes the iPhone, the iPod Touch, and the iPad. We needed to keep on the cutting edge of everything, so people were moving away from just sitting at a desk typing on a computer, and they would have mobile devices, cell phones, and these types of things, and people would be texting and doing emails from their mobile device. So what this did is it gave our people the ability to use the Cherokee syllabary on some of the most advanced devices in the world. Not to mention, these are some of the most, like, the coolest things around now. The kids love these. And so this definitely captures the attention of the youth. What we didn't realize was that when this occurred, it actually caused the older generation to start using these devices. So this led to the development of Facebook in Cherokee. We have Cherokee communities online, and they use the syllabary. They have Cherokee groups, events, and people just chat in Cherokee back and forth on Facebook using the syllabary. And they can do it from their computer, they can do it from their mobile device. And as we all know, the world is moving increasingly toward technology. So the more we stay on the cutting edge of this, the greater chance that our language will be continued to use from here on out, and we'll do amazing, innovative things with it.
Kohonjik no ugod it's tanedo the neota de ugayu. To din tlaw di tlaw tin dani hido. Go hitjigesa gaskida la ligi tlaho. Ases can kohigesa hin use no dati. They the delay. Nanos could go well, these are like to go well or the gas. As can how no ni yay the hill. Now it's like you talk to gas.
I like to text in Cherokee. I think it's really cool. There are some different people that I text back and forth and doing things like using emoticons, using syllabary emoticons. I think that's really cool. Su-ah, it doesn't mean anything, but it's a syllabary emoticon happy face. And I like to see that. Instead of writing LOL, like he's ha-ha or hee-hee. I think that's a lot of fun. It's a different way to use the language. I don't think that... I think Sequoia would have approved, though. I like posting things in Cherokee on Facebook. In the beginning, whenever I'd post something in Cherokee syllabary on Facebook, my non-Cherokee friends would say that they saw squares. Well, what is that? Square, 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 9, square, square, square. But now people are saying, oh, is that Cherokee syllabary? So that means the syllabary being part of the iPhone, that they're able to actually see that and see that it's syllabary even though they're not Cherokee. And I think that's great. There won't be another Cherokee language to replace this one if we lose it. So it's up to us to do everything we can to keep on using it.
I have an iPhone that I text with all the time with a couple of my class students in the classroom. I love Facebook. I love the Cherokee part. I've been using Facebook. Somebody will mention something like, it's been raining a lot, and I'll comment on that with my iPhone. I'll comment on a lot of the people's writings. I didn't know who had one, but now you can see people on Facebook texting Cherokee, and I'll usually make comments on that. I found other people that I didn't know they were using Facebook. I found them on Facebook and they're texting in Cherokee. I really like that.